The special education process begins with a request that comes from a teacher, a parent, or another professional. And once the request is submitted in writing, the school will have 15 days to either ask the parent or guardian for permission or consent to continue with an evaluation, or they will get a written notice explaining why the request was denied. After the consent is given, the school has 60 days to have multiple professionals assess the student and have an eligibility meeting. To be eligible, the student must fall under the IDEA's 13 categories, and the student's impact on their performance must require services. The eligibility meeting has the same 60 days from consent to take place. Once eligibility is determined, the development of the IEP begins, and the IEP meeting must be done within 30 days of the eligibility determination. Now, the role of the general education teacher in determining the eligibility would be their classroom performance, interventions and strategies that have already been used with the student and the results of that, and how the student is performing in a general education class. The role of the special education teacher, they can provide a tailored teaching methods and instruction for the student. They can observe the student in the general education environment, and they can work with the general education teacher to develop appropriate support for the student. Now, by understanding the typical and age-appropriate milestones, it gives educators a baseline comparison, which allows the educators to identify if the student is not reaching their goals. Other signs also that they could look for would be emotional or behavior, when a student can get frustrated or show anxiety because they are struggling with the information. A formal assessment that a special education teacher could use would be standardized achievement tests to measure the academic skills of the student. An informal assessment could be observing the student academically and socially, how they are dealing with their peers and how they do in the social environment. Language barriers, if they speak a primary different language, could be an issue in understanding assignments or understanding the instructions on how to do an assignment properly. Some cultural differences could be just doing things differently than, the customs are different, and that could be seen as someone that's perhaps struggling or having a challenge. Perhaps it's customary not to look someone in the eye in their culture. And of course, the more support that the family can give to the student and more support in the student's community, it is better for the student. And, as Melissa Coates said, it's about progress, not perfection.